interesting question to think about breaking through those emotional barriers to wealth. And a story comes to mind about a couple that I worked with probably 20 years ago when I was still with a wealth management firm. And this was a very traditional couple from a generation older than myself, where traditionally the man was the corporate guy, the corporate executive. He spent his entire career in one company, rising through the corporate ranks, climbing the corporate ladder, developing, he got access to stock and stock options, and they developed considerable wealth. And the wife's job was to be the corporate wife. So she hosted the gatherings at the country club, she raised the kids, she did all the traditional wife stuff. And the tragic part is right after the husband retired, he developed dementia. And so she went from being a corporate wife who was never responsible for the family finances to being solely responsible for managing absolutely everything. And she lived down in the mid-Atlantic states, and when she would come up to New York for our wealth management meetings, she would take the church bus because it cost $25, because she was afraid to spend money on an airplane ticket or even an Amtrak ticket. Wow. So she took the church bus, and we sat her down and said, and I'll call her Mary, it doesn't matter, you are worth $50 million. You can take an airplane, you can take the Amtrak. But what it took was empowering her with knowledge and literally sitting down with her brokerage statements and her wealth management statements and explaining to her in terms that she had never had to understand before because her husband took care of her whole life. And so actually from that moment, I made it my mission to try to educate women on being your own person and taking advantage and taking charge of your finances in a way that empowers you, doesn't force stuff down your throat, but rather empowers you and makes you feel good about yourself and makes you feel that you can move forward with that.